Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this Oxnard Police Department live stream, straight to you, coming to you live from the Oxnard Police Department police station right here in downtown Oxnard on this beautiful October evening. This evening, we are going to do a straight to you, a live Q&A with Corporal Jacob Jundiff, who is one of our Explorer advisors, and we're going to talk about the Explorer program and meet a couple of our current Explorers as well. So thank you again so much for being here. We try to find as many ways as possible to still connect with the community, whether it's live events like our Spooktacular coming up next week, Wednesday night. If you haven't registered yet, go ahead and do that. You can find out more details and information about that right here on our Facebook page. And like I see some of you commenting in the chat here, we love to communicate with you and commune, if you will, right here in the virtual space on Facebook. And I believe somewhere we are streaming an Instagram as well. So thank you once again as everybody jumps in here. I just wanted to remind you, we are live from 6 p.m. to 6:30 here on the Pacific Coast. And if you are watching and you have any questions for our Explorer advisor or Explorers, any of our guests, go ahead and ask them live here in the chat. Got a little audio loop, but I fixed it. As long as we are live until 6:30, we can answer those questions as they come in. And if we see any after the fact, if you're watching this video after it was live, once it was over, it's out there in perpetuity. Go ahead and watch it. Hopefully we'll answer your question. And if we still haven't, I'm sure we'll get you our contact info so you can ask us and by another avenue. And without further ado, I will introduce our guests here this evening. Please join me in welcoming Corporal Jacob Jundiff and two of our Explorers, Joseph and Nadalyn. You can't hear the thunderous round of applause, but it's there. I promise. All right. Welcome. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right. As we do, whenever we do one of these Q&As, I love to get to know you a little bit first, and then we'll let people ask their questions. And by the end of the chat here, we'll have plenty of questions to answer. But first, like I said, let's bring it back to who are you? We'll start with Advisor Jundiff. I start all of these by throwing it all the way back to the very beginning. I say, Corporal Jacob Jundiff, born and raised. Where?
Born and raised in Northridge, California.
Yes.
How
How long did you grow up there?
From about age 5 to 18, went to school, UC Santa Barbara, got my BA in political science and a minor in professional writing. Was in public relations and marketing for several years, and one day I had the epiphany that I wanted to be a police officer. I quit my job and started training. Was lucky enough to get hired by LA School Police. I was there for 3 years, and then came to Oxnard in 2010.
Wow.
And then a year later, I started with the Explorer program in 2011. So been with the Explorer program for a really long time. I do it because I completely enjoy it. It's so rewarding. If I had to give up every position here, this would be the one I would still not want to give up.
Well, we don't want you to give up any of the positions that you hold here, because you are such a valued member of our police department. And if I can just reel it back a little bit and address, so I love stories like yours, because it just shows it's never too late to kind of shift gears and pursue a career in law enforcement. And you mentioned your major was in creative writing.
Yeah, so I had a minor in professional writing, like technical communication back.
Okay.
So a lot of document design stuff, brochures, web kind of content. Not the design of the sites, but the actual verbiage, the words. Went into public relations and marketing, mostly in the automotive industry. and some in the entertainment industry for a bit. Um, and then really was sitting at a desk one day and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just doing stuff for companies. I'm making them money. I'm spreading their word. And like, I really felt like if something was to happen tomorrow, what impact did I have on society? And I thought of my time when I was at UC Santa Barbara. I worked for the police department there as a community service officer. And I said to myself, like, that's what I want to do. So um, later on in life, age 29, went to the academy. So I was one of the older people in the academy against, going with 21-year-olds and some 19, 18-year-olds at the time for sheriff's department. But yeah, it's you can change mid-career or midlife and do something you pursue, you want to do and love. And then when I was with LA School Police, I started getting involved with their Explorer program. So I've been involved with an Explorer program since about 2008. Um, did trainings with them, and then when I came over here, it was just a natural progression to work with the kids here.
That's awesome. And what would you say is your favorite thing other than being an Explorer advisor and being involved in the Explorer program? What is your favorite thing about being a police officer?
You really do make a difference. It sounds very altruistic and cheesy, but um, you can significantly have an impact on someone's life and not even know it, for the good. And to that's knowing that you were able to help someone in need, or you affected someone's life positively by maybe helping them change their career, helping them in their relationship, helping them in their whatever struggles we're having. That makes it worth it. That's really why we do it.
I mean, there's no better commercial for joining the Oxnard Police Department than that. Thank you. And that is just a little bit about Corporal Jundiff. And as I mentioned at the top, if you're just joining us, we're taking live questions in the Facebook chat at this time, and we will address them in just a little bit. But if you have any questions for any of our guests here this evening, feel free to just go ahead and drop those into the chat thread, as I said, at any moment. Well, let's move on to Nadalyn Lopez. Nadalyn, hi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And I'm going to throw it back the same way I did with Corporal Jundiff. Nadalyn, born and raised
in Oxnard, California.
Right here in town. And what schools did you attend, or have you attended?
Let's see. Elementary, Cesar Chavez, right down by Marquita. And then I went to Robert J. Frank down the street as well. And then for high school, I went to Pacifica High.
Very cool. So you have graduated.
Oh yes, and then now I'm in college at Ventura College.
Ventura College, very cool. What inspired you to join the Explorers?
Honestly, for as long as I can remember, I wanted to be an officer. Right now, it's kind of like 50-50. I don't know yet. I'm just kidding. But I always wanted to be an officer as long as I can remember. I would see the officers around in the patrol cars. I thought it was so cool with their Sam Brown and everything that they had in it. And I believe one of the former explorers, well, they're still an explorer, Adrian Gutierrez, he kind of introduced me to the Explorer program and what they were about, and who were involved as well. And it got me really interested, and I got curious. And then I said, why not? Let me apply. Let's see what happens. I applied in 2019 during the starters of COVID. And then I officially got hired in, I believe, of March of 2020. And then from there, I was a recruit for a while because everything shut down because of COVID. And
right.
It was nuts. But then I graduated from the Police Explorers Academy last year. As I'll hold my rank for right now to answer a few questions later on about it, but it's been a journey so far. I'm an Explorer Sergeant now, and you can tell from the few months that I graduated from the academy to what I am now. It's significant.
Wow. And you mentioned you I mean, you kind of tongue in cheek mentioned that you might want to become a police officer someday. Uh, is that a goal of yours?
Yes, hopefully it's still a goal of mine currently. Since I am now working as a TSA here at the Oxnard Police Department, it's another stepping goal.
That's right. You recently joined us officially as a traffic service assistant, and that is definitely a step in that direction for sure. We'll talk about ranks a little bit more in just a little bit, but let's get to know Joseph, ladies and gentlemen. This is Joseph. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And let's swing it all the way back to the beginning. Joseph Gomez, born and raised.
I was born and raised in El Rio for about 6 years of my life, and I moved to Oxnard on the north side, and that's where I've been living for all my life now.
And which schools did you attend?
I attended Mesa Union. It's a K through 8 school, and then for high school, I attended Rio Mesa High, and I graduated just recently, 2022.
And any college yet?
As of right now, I tried to attend Ventura College, but the classes I wanted to attend, they got full, so I'm gonna try next fall.
Taking a break, as we say. We're taking a little break, but school, there's always an opportunity to go back to school and keep learning. When did you get involved with the Explorer program?
I got involved I put in my form around 2019, got recruited around 2020, same year as Nederland right here. And like she said, we got held back on our academy because of COVID. So we stayed as recruits for a while, and it was pretty mellow. Wasn't too much action going on, but we still got some details here and there. I remember my first detail, I think it was over there at Walmart for Black Friday, and that was my first detail with Oxnard, and I liked it. I liked helping the public. It's something that I aspired to do, just to help the public, and from there it just hooked me.
And do you also aspire to one day be a police officer, or are you just kind of feeling it out?
No, I aspire to be a police officer. It's something that I hold near and dear to my heart. I just want to do it.
That's great. And before we jump into, I just kind of want to explore the whole, no pun intended, the whole experience of getting into the program and what it is and what you do. But first, I just wanted to mention, before anybody forgets, maybe Corporal Jundiff can talk on what an amazing program this is recruitment wise and how it has affected our department recently.
Yeah. You asked like what was as far as being a police officer, what's fulfills you. But as an advisor, what fulfills me is now seeing the dozens of former explorers now becoming officers, and to see them going from some I've seen it as early as age 14, the youngest we could take in the program, to now being police officers working side by side, knowing that you had maybe a touch of responsibility or molding of this young person becoming an officer. To me, that's the biggest benefit for me being in the program. That's something I enjoy seeing. So I see our explorers as kind of like our minor league team. To give a baseball reference, now they have playoffs going on, and once they complete those kind of steps, they come up to the major leagues and become an officer. So we can talk about the process. You can go to our website, oxnardexplorers.org. There's an application process. There's requirements. You have to be 14 years old, 2.5, 2.5 GPA, and we do background checks. Nothing as in depth as an officer, but we do kind of check you out and want to make sure that we're getting quality people. There's no cost to be in the program. That's another thing that I really enjoy about specifically Oxnard Explorers, that it doesn't matter from what economic background you come from. If you meet our requirements, we're going to get you in the program. And that's also been a good thing to see, to give everyone in this community surrounding communities the opportunity, and that's what our program I feel differentiates from others.
And as soon as you started saying that, a bunch of hearts and likes went up in the Facebook chat. You know, that's a huge deal, and it's just such a great opportunity. So tell me, can you kind of walk me through it? And this could be like a group answer, but if I applied and I was selected, what then?
The waiting game at that point. It's honestly no joke. You're basically applying for another job. You're just waiting for that manager, that recruiter to send you that email saying, "Hey, you got it," or "Congrats, you're part of so and so team." We did wait. We're not gonna lie. We did wait like 2-3 months to get informed back. Maybe later. I don't know. From my point of view, it was 2-3 months. After that, they set up an interview. Mine was in person. Other people's can be in Zoom. Depends on the circumstance. In person, they ask you a few questions, just like any other interview process, scenarios, anything you would do in that point, in your perspective point of view as well. And from there, it's another waiting game. Obviously, they just want the best for the post, and they want people that actually are going to work hard and be there and show up, not only attendance wise, but also for their teammates. So yeah, so after that, just waiting game, and then they tell you you're in, and you show up to your first meeting, and after that, it's how. Not just kidding. But go ahead.
What's that? Want people to
Oh, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
But I can agree with her. It is a waiting game. For me, when I put in my application, it took about 4-5 months possibly.
Is there like a deadline or a time frame when applications are being accepted?
No, so right now we're accepting applications. We are really pushing. We really want to expand the post. So I think in the past during COVID there was some sort of delay. A lot of the officers who kind of are in charge of the hiring process were on modified schedules and so forth. So right now there should not be a delay. The hiring process goes, once you submit all your information, it'll be reviewed. Usually we do a collective group of applications. We'll do an interview process, and we do it because, like she said, like Lopez said, to get to know who you are, but also a lot of what we do in the program is not just police skills, it's also life skills. We've had classes or in the past on resume writing, on financial, being financially aware, on interviewing. So we're not only preparing these explorers for a life in law enforcement, but just general life as well. In the corporate world, if they decide to become a different route. So after all that, they'll get contacted and start coming to meetings. At that point, they're considered an explorer recruit. And then in the summertime, usually right after high school ends, we put on about a 3-week academy. And the academy mimics the true police academy. Everything that you would do in a police academy, we do at the Explorer Academy, kind of on a smaller and a micro basis, and exposes them to everything from our canine, our SWAT, traffic, our investigations, drone, every part of the Oxnard Police Department, along with some of the county agencies, and educate them and really put them through what we consider an amazing academy. And then after that, all that, now they become a full-on explorer, and they're eligible to go on ride-alongs with officers. That's also differentiates from maybe some of the community, because we can have explorers going on ride-alongs as young as 14 because they've passed through our academy, and then they can compete in competitions. And they just got back from a competition recently and won some awards. So that's kind of like a quick answer to the process, but we expect it to be a lot more quick and more streamlined right now.
So if you are interested, don't wait, apply today. And then I guess you wait, because I hear it's a waiting game. Tell me about, we just saw a post on Facebook about these awards in Riverside, right? Tell me about the Riverside competition.
It was honestly so much fun. It was such an experience to be part of as honestly explorers. I don't know about like off their point of view, I'm pretty sure it was even fun to see their fellow explorers do scenarios and hands on and so forth. But it was honestly amazing. I really recommend going to competitions. If you guys apply, obviously, if you guys apply, you guys can go through the experience if you guys don't apply. But the whole going from like one place and then traveling with your fellow explorers to another location, and then you're there for a few days, and it's basically you guys are just how do I say? You guys are going on vacation for a bit, and then you guys are working obviously because it's a work vacation type of thing.
It's like a
But
team sport almost.
it's almost.
And tell me what is the competition? What do you do there? Did I break up? What is the competition? What do you do at the competition?
It's basically a competition full of scenarios. What a officer would do in obviously at work, such as active shooter. There's also hostage, CNT, practice negotiation. There's also domestic, what we do in a domestic violence in that sort of circumstance. There was also CSI, crime scene investigation, where you have to obviously find all the evidence around the room or whatever location you're at as well. There's also more, but it honestly depends on the competition because they always switch it up here and there. This is what happened at Riverside, so we're just giving it what happened.
It's like a police department Olympics.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, the officers, we train them, and then it's just like we're the coaches, and then they go out and they perform their lifelike scenarios as officers would, and then they compete against other Explorer programs around the state, wherever regionally. So yeah, we love it to see them do well because it makes us proud that and they get that satisfaction that hey, look, it's always nice to get that first place. So
Yeah. And we touched on it briefly, but can you explain the rank system?
Oh, sure. So it's obviously Explore Recruit, then Explore, then Senior Explorer, then Explore Sergeant, then Explore Lieutenant, and then Captain.
Wow. And so if as you promote, what does that mean for you when you go to meetings or events?
Well, for me, I'm Explorer Sergeant, so obviously I got a few ranks up and up my sleeve already, but it's a bit more responsibility for sure. You do have to be more vocal and more communicative with your teammates, or else it just doesn't work. You have to send out reminders. You have to be vocal with advisors as well. Advisors are officers, if you guys don't understand, because some people, when I tell them advisors, are like who? Fellow officers are involved. Um, so it's very Explore Sergeant is very hands-on as on also for Explore Lieutenant since we don't have a captain at the moment. But I'll pass it on to Gomez since he's a senior explorer.
So I'm a senior explorer, and basically I look over all the regular explorers and also the recruits. So it depends on who wants to help with the recruits, whether it's a senior or sergeant or combined. But it's mainly us. We're the backbone of the Explorer program. We're out there leading an example for every single explorer, showing them what the post is about, and basically just making a good environment for everyone, saying our reminders and just more or less being there for everyone.
It's more like a little chain. The advisors tell the lieutenant tells the sergeants, and then we tell the seniors, and then they vocalize everything else. So it's like that's how it works, and that's the only way we can get organized with this big post.
It is a chain of command.
Yep.
We've got a few questions to get to, and time flies when you're just having a blasty blast like we are. But I wanted to ask both of you, I'll start with you, Joseph. What is your favorite thing about being an explorer?
Just you get to be out there with the community and with the officers. So, like,
that was me. Yeah.
well, you too.
Okay.
Like Officer Jennifer, I got to meet him when we went to the Vegas competition. I got to learn more about him, about his life, and just you get to know officers. You get to be close with the department, TSAs, overall the city too. And it's good. It's good experience, good life experience because you get to understand how you can be an officer, but also how you can work for the city, its benefits, and just overall, like I said, going back, you get to spend time with the community, and it's just a really amazing thing.
Awesome. And Nadalyn?
He stole my answer. What I was gonna say that as well, but honestly, touching up on what Gomez said, it's honestly worthwhile when you go to details or events. I'll pull Cowboys Camp as an example. We saw Cowboys Camp. We were there um, all day basically. We're helping with parking and everything. And for people to come up to us and be like, "Thank you for doing this. You weren't supposed to like it's volunteer. You're not getting paid, obviously, but it's um, it's it's that satisfaction where you go home and you're like, wow, like I did something good for the community today." And it's just those little words from your fellow community members that like really boost up your confidence as an explorer and also as a TSA. Like what I'm working as right now, it's just a really confidence boost, I would say.
Awesome. All right, we will get to these questions in rapid fire manner. Medina Jesus asks, what is the difference between the Oxnard PD Explorers and VCSO, the Ventura County Sheriff's Office Explorers?
Just different agency. They have a good explorer program too. So if you're closer to that area and you want to look into that program, go for it. I know we've had some explorers from other cities come to us. Obviously, I'm biased. I think our post is the best, but every department in Ventura County, I think now, has one. So just find the right fit for you and go from there.
Sal Mendoza asks, will it be a good idea to deploy explorers to alleyways to give warnings, parking warnings in alleys?
You know, we have done some outreach when it came to like locked vehicles before with the explorers. I don't know about parking. That would be more of a TSA thing. But as far as locking your vehicles, we've deployed the explorers before and gone down streets and put like little safety flyers on cars before.
Excellent. Isabel asks, we would love more presence at our junior high schools on the south side. I don't know if that's more of an SRO question but it does bring up a good point. Do explorers ever do anything on campuses?
We don't do anything, but we will in the next couple months be out there doing some recruiting, and we'll be out there probably either at lunchtime at a table at some of the high schools and middle schools. So you'll see us in the coming future. As far as any specific events, unless there's like a community event at the school, I don't think you'd see us kind of in uniform.
And this isn't a question, but I had to read. Eduardo Miranda says, OPD explorers are the best. The skill set you learn, the interactions you have with the officers and the community are invaluable. One last one here, it looks like in the chat. Armando asks, who can I contact if I submitted an application in May and have not heard back?
You can, if you can, go on our Instagram account and send a message and I'll reply back and figure out where it's at. But we will look into it.
Awesome. Before we wrap up here, I just wanted to mention we started to talk about how this is just a great program to get in if you are inspired for a career in law enforcement and how it has affected our police department. I forgot to mention the stat. Actually, it looks like based on what Corporal Junda sent me today, 18 of our current police officers came from the Explorer program right here in Oxnard.
Yeah, I mean, that alone just tells you how valuable that we see these explorers. And we do train them as if they're going to be our next partners, especially in competitions and the academy. So, I mean, again, that's kind of like I said, one of the most fulfilling things. Seeing we just had 2 recent graduates of the Sheriff's Academy who were former, or 3, one with a different agency and 2 for our agency. But just that, I mean, it's very, makes me feel old, I'm not gonna lie. But knowing these kids when they're 14 years old and now they're going to be police officers. So again, if you're interested in law enforcement or just an extracurricular activity that this program looks good, please go on the website, download the application, make sure you turn in all the documentation, like I mentioned, and you'll hear back from us soon, not delayed, I hope. And yeah, we welcome, like I said, everyone and anyone that is meets those requirements.
And just like that, it is 6:30 on the dot. Do we want to close with it? Is there anything else we haven't touched on or mentioned that you would like to say?
Honestly, it's not hard at all. You just have to go ahead and just try it. Honestly, that's my word of advice. Just go ahead and try it. You don't know what it's like. You may say, oh, it seems hard. It's just volunteer work, but the volunteer work will help you in the long run. Not only Explorers is a good program to put on a bad resume, but fellow officers can even add on to, you can say recommendations, they even give you recommendation letters to fellow other workplaces that you want to apply. If you don't want to be an officer, that's totally okay. We have fellow Explorers that don't want to be officers, but this is a way to open doors for you, and it really does help in the long run. I recommend.
And for me personally, just standing off the whole Explore program, for me, it's just one big family. That's all I can really say, and it's worth it. It's worth going through every single day, meetings, details, everything, just to be with your family. Your family away from your family. But that's what I gotta say.
We like to say the Oxnard Police Department is a family, and you are like the Explorers are our youngest members, really. But thank you so much for anything else from you, Corporal?
No, like I said, if you're interested, and you can send a message on Instagram, or if you want to come to a meeting to see what it looks like, we'd be happy to have you too. Just thank you everyone who watched. You know someone might be interested, hey, let us know.
Yes, I echo that sentiment. Thank you everybody for tuning in and joining us here on Oxnard Police Department Straight to You live Q&A with our Explorers. And I hope you have a great rest of your night and great rest of your week.